Hey there, everyone. I'll be talking about systems of the world as it relates to immigration issues. When people overstay in any country other than their own country of residence or origin, they may arrest them or deport them, or they may not do anything. So let me talk about first about people who are being detained or who will be detained because they've overstayed. So for people who are being detained, they take them to a place called detention center. And the detention center is like, they just keep them there for as long as they want to keep them there. And a lot of things happens to people. People suffer ill health while being in detention centers, which is like, well, in the sense that somebody may be sick before and then they may not even voice out and anything can happen there. And for some, when they get healed, they may decide to take them to the hospital, or they will take them to the hospital just to ensure that, everything is well with them. And for some people who maybe physically they are fine, mentally they begin to get stressed. They begin to, go through traumas, like because of that state where they are in. And the thing about this detention center is, like I said, people will be detained for as long as the system wants to detain them. So you can imagine a young man with life, full of vigor, with great ambition, to change the world. And you can imagine that boy being in a detention center, being confined, being imprisoned. Before you know it, that vision may crumble, or the person may fight, fight for his life and become a voice in the world, or the person may decide to just be there and no more dreams, just because of that event. And one thing I say is that to prevent immigration issues, don't overstay. Live legally in the country where you are. Make sure you check your visa expiry dates and abide with the rules or regulations of where you are. And then I'll be talking about the other set of people that have decided to move on and not to do anything. For this set of people who have decided to move on, not to do anything about the immigration status, they also go through mental health issues because, not because they would run mad. That's not what I mean. They may experience anxieties, palpitations, because they are not safe. They know that, anything can happen to them. Some live from hands to mouth just because, like they cannot walk. They don't have the legal means of walking or stay, so they just live from hands to mouth. Some may just get any kind of job which may not, help them, which may not really even, be able to provide for their basic needs. And these are issues, people don't really talk about, people don't really think about on the long run when they overstay, that what becomes of them. So the next is I'll talk about people who may get deported, because they have overstayed. So you can imagine a man, who has been living abroad, and then all of a sudden, immigration officers, picks him up and then they deport him back to his country. You can imagine at that instance, maybe he was not even expecting it. He may go back home without anything, without his belongings, just like that. And then for that kind of person, it may be like, a form of shame, having to go back home without preparing for it. And a lot of things happens to people in general, when they overstay. They hear different voices. Different people give them different counsels. They tell them what to do, whether those things are right or wrong. But what I want to say is that I know this topic is very sensitive, but you've got a choice. You've got a choice. Don't stay in that position. Don't stay in that state, where you are constantly afraid, when you're constantly unsure of what would happen to you the next moment. You've got a dream, you've got a vision. Run with passion, for your vision. Chase your dreams, chase your goals. Don't let anything called immigration issues, affect who you are meant to be. Don't let it deprive you of that greatness that God has put on the inside of you. There's a choice in this matter. I said earlier on, people may consult lawyers. And then the one thing is that people may consult lawyers and then they stay. Sometimes it may not be as instant as people say it. For some people, it may just be like up to 10 years, 5 years, 20 years, just, being in a spot, being in a place, confined in a country. They are not free to exercise their freedom. They are not free, to do things they would normally do, because at the back of their minds, they know that they are illegal in that country. They cannot, do so many things. I don't want to start, saying examples of things that people may not be able to do when they have immigration issues. The truth is, some people may decide to do things, but at the end of the day, they know that, they don't have that peace of mind. They know they don't have that good. They are not in a good state of mind. So please, I want to implore you that, don't overstay in any country. It's much more difficult than as I have said. I just decide to just, talk about it in a simple way, just because it's a very sensitive matter. Please heed advice, ask information, seek lawyers. Don't overstay. God will help us. And I remembered a friend said something that when people have immigration issues, it's like a form of problem that needs deliverance, because it's like people will go from one problem to the other. Everyone do go through problems, but there are some that could be avoided. Don't get your life wasted. Don't get your life messed up because of immigration issues. It's not worth it. Thank you.